that gives your time to go out and, provide the best officiating you can to what we cover in the Metroplex. It was USO's largest year in 2023. We paid out in officials fees about $1.4 million. Still blows my mind that our little old company is able to help families like yourself, with second incomes, to be able to, pay bills, live life, do the things y'all got to do. Shim and myself get the most credit just because, we own the company, we're the head of the company. However, we don't deserve it. That credit goes to every one of y'all that steps on a field, steps on a court, and does the best you can. It's not an easy job with what we do, and nobody respects what you do more than we do. Nobody goes and fights for you the way we do. So I'm going to kick it over here to Shim. Let's see what he got to say, and then we'll get.
I thought we were going to get rolling into it, and I would talk at the end with stuff we talked about.
Okay. In case you want to go ahead and pull up the.
Damn.
Yeah, you can. That was my opening remarks. You can go ahead and move on.
Yeah, I'm good. Ditto what Joey said.
So, want to give a shout out. These are the top 10 earners from 2023. I'm not going to give figures of what people made except Alan, because Alan and I have talked multiple times and he's okay with it. You can earn as much money with us as you decide to work. One of the things about Alan Hurst, and I'm going to talk about him a little bit, is, man, Alan calls every sport we have. Alan has a full-time job, a regular full-time job outside of officiating. And Alan made just a tad under $26,000 for the year of 2023. Everybody on this list made above $9,500. So want to give a shout out to Alan, Danny LeBlanc, Lane Magrin, Robert Zonka, Philip Smith, Robbie Lewis, Daryl Frey, Candace, Philip Meeker, Miguel Candelaria, right? All of you that fall underneath this, man, doesn't mean I think anything less of you. We all have different places where we are in life and how much we can call. And everybody, whether you worked 5 games last year or you worked 300 games, every one of y'all has had an impact in the youth sporting world and have definitely had an impact on how USO is perceived out there. I'd be willing to argue and fight with anybody that wants to come say that we're not the most professional organization in youth sports that officiates in the entire Metroplex. And as much as I want to take credit for that, I can't. That credit goes to y'all. 100% goes to y'all. So, man, if you go and do what you do, you're on this call, we appreciate you. We love you. We'll do everything we can for you. We're just a phone call away. Case, go ahead and move on. All right. So let's talk a little bit about dues, 1099s, the whole 9 yard. Dues, just like it's been in years past, is the exact same. It's $40. It's $40 for every sport we call. You don't have to pay a different one. We do not make money on your dues. We're just trying to cover the costs. Direct deposit is expensive. I mean, extremely expensive. And I'm A-okay paying for it. I don't think anybody's going to say that they don't like the way a signer does direct deposit. You get a notification when we initiate the payment. You get another notification when that payment's about to come through. 2024 dues, how do you pay them? That will all be done on a signer just like it was last year. So what you're seeing up here is my profile. If you go on a signer and you go click on your picture, it'll pull a drop down. You can go to your profile Case, can you run your scroll over the 2024 dues here where it says register now? Yep.
Below that, yeah.
Yep. Right there. That's all y'all got to do, guys. It's $40. They charge us a $4 service fee to be able to use the credit card to do it. It's the easiest way for everybody. And you know, it's all recorded there for you. 1099s. About 8 days ago, 9 days ago, I finished all the 1099s. They have been submitted. The message I got from a signer is that they've all been received as submitted. They will be available for you to be able to view, download, do what you need with them by January 30th. Case, if you could pull up a signer real quick and go over, it's going to be under financials. And you click it, and at the very bottom it says my W-9, my 1099s. That's where you guys are going to click it. I don't even know if they posted. No, so the 2023s haven't posted yet, but it'll be right there underneath the 2022 ones. You can go back and move off of that. Bring us back to the Zoom. So everything. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit. As everybody knows, a signer is the lifeblood of our business. It's where you get games. It's where you get paid. The best thing I can tell everybody is, man, the more updated your availability is, the more chance you got to make money. And it's just that simple. You know, a signer is, we're one of their largest accounts. They take a lot of feedback from us on how to run their site, what we need, what you need, and how it best works for you. I don't think anybody's going to have much complaints about a signer's been pretty good for all of us. Go ahead and move on to the next slide, Case. All right. League cheat cards. I'm going to let the coordinators talk about this a little bit. We're going to let them each speak here for a minute. Guys, we get it. Just like you, I officiate multiple leagues that we do. And I'm just going to use 10U baseball as an example, right? 10U baseball from Allen to McKinney to Prosper to Trophy Club to Carrollton to Grapevine all has different little intricate rules. Shim, I'm going to bring you in here to talk about how you do from a card perspective. Some of the coordinators have made these cards available for you where it's a little cheat sheet. We don't have them done for every league. However, it's something you can do. So, Shim, I'm going to let you talk about that a little bit.
Guys, we talk about it, you know, if you came through training, but it's a good thing to remember, especially, man, that's the big thing we get with leagues is we do a great job for them and all that. And they say they understand that we have multiple leagues, but they don't. They don't care. All they care about is their league. So when we mess up how to score from third in McKinney, or we mess up, you know, whether it's a balk or a balk warning in 9U and Prosper or Allen or Carrollton or what have you, or the weird run rules that we've almost got eliminated in Carrollton, that's all they care about. So I still, to this day, before I leave the house, I pull up the link, I go to the rules, and I just scan to make sure what's different, right? What's different. And I do a little 3x5 card, and I just write down what's different, right? If it's not different, I don't care, right? I don't need to know the rules of baseball. I need to know the rules for this league. And I just keep that in my truck, and I still do that to this day, right? And I'll do it again, whatever I work this spring and fall for USO baseball. It takes 5 minutes. Do the pregame, right? And that's the main thing, other than the basics of mechanics and making sure, especially if you were the newer guy, you know, where you're going to be, what your responsibilities are, all that good stuff. But make sure y'all are on the same page with rules, that you know anything funky, right? Hey, this league has this. Don't forget, this league has this, right? So it matters, right? And if we kick one and we shit the bed a little bit on that, man, we've kind of killed our credibility for the rest of the evening. And there's no reason to, right? It's hard enough job as it is. We don't need to blow something that we could have figured out, sitting at home looking at our phone or looking at our computer, right? So please take the 5 minutes. And that's the thing. Once you've done that age or that lead, you have it. It's in your vehicle, and you don't have to do that again. So that's what I would recommend. It's a very small part of your time. And I would I would insist that when you do your pregame with your partner, and you should be doing pre-games with your partner, that's what you hit first, right? What's different about what we're doing tonight, right? What's different? If you're doing playoffs, what's their extra inning rule, right? That way, nothing looks worse than you're in a playoff game. You got to go ask the coaches, hey, what's the run rule? Or what's the extra inning rule, right? That looks terrible, right? So we're in charge. So let's look in charge and let's be in charge. We don't need to fake it. Should be real.
And guys, this isn't only for baseball. I know baseball is 80% of what USO does. I'm the worst basketball official we have, right? I'm man enough to say it. We needed help this last weekend, and I went did a couple of games. And I know basketball, but I had to go look at the specific rules for what I was doing for fifth graders, right? Do we have a running clock? Or are we, straight fed double bonus, right? When we get to 5 fouls per quarter. It's just something we need to do as officials. We fight. We've had meetings with almost all of our leagues, and we'd love for them all to adopt the same rule. They're never going to. Most of these leagues are run by volunteers. These volunteers join the board. A lot of times they do it because they have one specific pet peeve that they want to deal with, right? I don't like it. I don't like that Prosper and McKinney are different. That Metro Prep and basketball and ASA basketball have different rules, right? And how it's governed. It's just the life we live in. And it's something we've got to continue to always just stay on top of. Shim said it. It's your credibility. The coach that you're going to deal with that day, basketball, volleyball, baseball, flag football, he doesn't know the rules of that sport like you do. But what I can promise you is he knows the specific rules of his division in the sport and league he's playing, or she. They're going to know those specific rules. And that's where it's on us. It's on us as independent contractors. It's on us as the qualified official that's on that game to be on top of that. We try to do our best to where the link to every rule set is on your game assignment. I try to make it as easy as possible for you. All you got to do is click on it. It takes you there. You spend 4 or 5 minutes scanning over your specifics and what's different. Like Jim said, write it down on a note card. Casey is pulling up a pretty good example here of Prosper Baseball Softball Association. But you see all the different links in there. We try to make it when you get your notification from a signer, hey, I got a game today. All you got to do is click on it.
Okay, then I guess it's wrong in my account or the website is broken.
Why? All right, I'm back. Bring Joey back.
All right. I think I'm back.
Yeah.
I don't know who is specifically stating that. What I can tell you and what we're pressing for with all the coordinators going forward is that those links aren't broken. Sometimes, and what's happened in the past, they send us their link. We then publish the schedule because we've got to put it in a spreadsheet to upload it in the signer. So the link's in that spreadsheet. And then all of a sudden they update that link. And that link's no longer active. we're doing our best to stay as up to date with that as possible. There is some stuff that's going to slip through the cracks. We did 17,000 games last year. Every game has to be connected with that link individually. And so, I push on the coordinators. Shim's going to push on the coordinators to make sure that's as easy for you as possible. If that link doesn't work, reach out to the coordinator. So let's just use, the top game that Casey's showing right here. Tuesday, October 10th, 23, 6 p.m. Right? It tells you this is coach pitch softball, right? It also tells you who the assigner is for that. Reach out directly to your assigner. If those links don't work, we need to know about it. Because if we don't know about it, we can't fix it. And we'll do our best to fix it. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. Right here down on the October 10th, 7:45 game, you see it says baseball, assigner Drake Dunn, park behind scoreboard, a field number 3, and then it's got the link to the index cards, link to the parking map. We are trying as a leadership team to make sure every game has this on them. Sometimes they throw gyms and fields on us at the last minute that we've never been to before. And so there's going to be occasions where that's not all there. I promise you, my ultimate goal is to make it as easy for you as possible to have everything at your fingertips in one spot, to be able to show up to your field, to your gym, and be able to do your job as efficiently as possible without having to do 20 minutes of research. And I hope we've done a good job of that in the past. I can promise you we are stressing to do the best job that we can going on in the future. You got anything to add there, Shim?
No, you hit it all.
All right, Case, back to the Zoom.
Okay, yeah, this is where I was going to add. If you use the app on your phone instead of the website, to see all these links, you'll need to click on the arrow next to the league name.
And I wish we could show it to you on the app itself, but just understand that it looks a little different in the app than it does on the computer. And on the app, all you have to do is just hit the drop down. You know what league you're doing. Then go click that league and it'll show you all those links. We're working with a signer to make it where that doesn't happen. It's just part of what it is. So let's jump in here into important dates. And I'm going to let the coordinators kind of take over here. So Robert Lewis is calling a high school basketball game tonight, but Andy Bryson's here from the basketball side. Andy, I'm going to let you jump in here and talk a little bit about basketball as we get rolling.
Hey everybody, good evening. We're in full swing with basketball. ASA started. We picked up a new league, Rowlett, and then we've also got Metro Prep that plays. They play 4 dates every season, so basically they play about 16 to 20 dates a year. Next time Metro Prep is going to be playing is on January 27th. I was going around Allen last week, here and there. One thing I noticed is that there were some games where 2 coaches were standing up. That's a no-no. Only 1 coach can be standing on the bench. So basketball officials that are on this call, thank you for being here. Please work on getting that done. We also need to make sure that we are doing pregame meetings with the coaches, and the league would also like for player captains to be a part of those pregame meetings. So if we could please work on that, that would be great. Adult basketball is going to start on February 13th. And another thing about availability, if you accept an assignment from another assigner, please, please, please shut down your availability with USO. It doesn't take that long. And I understand We've all got full-time jobs and stuff we got to do with family and all of that. But we would really, all of the assigners across all the sports would really appreciate that. I don't have anything else. If there's something that I missed, Shem or Joey, please jump in and help me out. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to talk about Shelton High School. We're doing Shelton High School again. I have not fully scheduled it out. I am the guy that schedules all of Shelton, so we do their middle school, their JV, and their varsity. They are a 4 and 4:30 start. They don't have lights. It's a single game. If you want to work Shelton High School, reach out to me directly. I could have dropped everything in, published all of this. Wanted to wait till after their first game starts here February 3rd. But I'm the guy to contact. So I do Shelton High School. If you want to do Shelton, send me a text, send me an email. I want to get everybody who's qualified to work, right, those games. You will see 85 and above. They are a private school. They play some other private schools that have 4 or 5 D1 kids on them. The next thing is Allen Adult Volleyball. I'm going to let Casey jump in here, talk a little bit about volleyball, kickball, and slow pitch softball for a minute.
All right, thank you, sir. So I have most of the adult stuff except for the basketball. So we have slow pitch softball, we have kickball, volleyball, flag football, and in Grapevine, Alan, Anna, and Melissa is where we have slow pitch softball. And we have adult volleyball in Allen, like you mentioned, and adult flag football in Grapevine. We have adult kickball in Grapevine and Allen. And you can see the dates that each of those start on here. I also do the fast pitch for USO. We have that in Prosper, McKinney, Capel, and Grapevine. And I also do baseball in Grapevine, Carrollton, Farmers Branch, and Louisville. And one thing I wanted to point out in my little time here is that 9 out of 10 of these people on the list here do baseball and softball, as well as some of the other sports. But softball can really add to your income if you want to do both. So let me know. That's it.
All right. Brian McCauley was asking if we're going to have training for volleyball. Understand that right now all we have, like Casey said, is adult in Allen. I would love to get more rec adult volleyball co-ed. It's super easy. It's not like I do the school stuff too. It's not like that. You're not standing up in a chair. You're not doing those kinds of things. It's very basically you're a scorekeeper, and there's very few things you have to learn. Now, you still have to know a few things. You got to know the basic rules of volleyball. But you're there to keep score and make sure that the gym doesn't burn down. That's all you're there for. It's not
right now we only have 2 nights a week, and we have more officials. I mean, the officials that we have want more games, so it's tough.
We have enough now. But I mean, we've talked to I-9 Sports. That nothing's come of that yet. I'd like to do a little deep search around DFW for any adult leagues that we don't know about, and at least give them our names. The way these things work is they think they're fine, and then whatever crap group they're using dissolves or something like that, and then they need help last minute, and then we get in there and do a really good job, and then we get the business. So I would like more. But to answer your question, Ryan, not until I get enough people to make it worth the time to do it, and the fact that right now we're just not needing guys too much or girls too much, because we have plenty. If we pick up more, then yes, we'll do a training, to train 10, 12 new officials. But that's where we stand right now. Yeah, the field house, Greg, in Frisco, they do a lot of that in-house. They do a lot of their stuff in-house. Same with basketball as well. It's just the way it is right now. And then the club stuff for volleyball is done by USAV. And they've got a pretty good lockdown on that. But so our market would be the adult co-ed rec leagues, stuff like that. Maybe like I said, Rowlett does younger kids, I think, or no, they do olders, but they don't need us yet. I anticipate they will. Luke A, if you're interested in softball games, Casey McCarter is the softball coordinator, right? Casey McCarter is the softball coordinator. So
yeah, Luke did a little bit last year.
Yeah, guys, listen, if you're wanting to branch out into other sports, yeah, you can. Like I said, we got guys that do all our sports. We got guys that do 2 or 3. We got guys that do several. I mean, it's all over the place, right? You can work 12 months a year if you wish, right? You can work just in the spring. You can work just in the fall. You can work all through if you want. I mean, we got stuff 12 months a year, basically. I mean, we invoice about every week except for one, right? That's the first time I think we've done that. But it's really up to you. It's really up to you. All right, what's next?
Drake.
Drake, tell us about Prosper a little bit. You there, sir? Calling Drake.
Sorry about that. I'm here. You hear me?
All right.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about
All right.
Prosper. Anything new?
Just there'll be some changes, slight changes, run rules, that 9U division. There'll be a few changes there. If you have pulled up their rule book online before, apparently they're going to just put a whole new format to it. So that link will be available in the games that Casey was showing you. It's going to be a packed schedule as seasons pass. Mondays, Tuesdays, and definitely Saturdays will be heavy. Other than that, not a ton of changes. Just make sure that if you're one that does baseball and softball, make sure you know which coordinator, because sometimes I'll get a call and they're talking softball. They need to be calling Casey, vice versa. That's really about it. It's pretty much status quo. And I will say this, I've had some positive feedback from coaches and board members in Prosper to the point of they like when we go to the plate meeting and guys will pull out that physical game card that Casey was showing you earlier and read from it, because all those bullet points are pretty much you can do your plate meeting with, but they actually like it because that gives the coaches confidence that, hey, they've got their act together. They're not trying to remember everything off the top of their head. They like seeing it. I'm not saying you have to do it, but just want to pass that good feedback along.
Excellent. All right. Casey, go through anything different in Grapevine, Louisville, Carrollton.
Carrollton is going to start having Sunday games, so open up for Sundays as well. And they're starting towards the end of March. It's like nothing new in Grapevine.
Okay. All right, Joel, anything at Parks worth mentioning?
Let me get Joel. Oh, here's Joel. Okay. Go ahead, Joel.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so the Parks at Texas Star will start typically that first week in March. Trophy Club won't start until after spring break, which I think last year was on the 24th. No changes that I'm aware of. Texas Star does have the cheat sheet already printed on the back of the scorecard that our umpires are supposed to fill out. So that makes it kind of nice and easy for you guys in Euless. Trophy Club doesn't have scorecards, so you would need to do your own. But the links should be in the assignments. If they're not, just reach out to me and I'll figure it out. I do struggle with Trophy Club sometimes. What they send me sometimes isn't always completely accurate. And so don't be afraid to let me know so I can fix it.
All right. Mike, McKinney, and Allen.
Yeah, there's going to be some changes, not a lot. ASA's competitive is going to start on March the 4th. The rec will start on the 24th. McKinney starting on March the 2nd. PSO, they're already started. They're going to start their middle school stuff at the end of February. I think it's the 26th. PSO, the rec stuff will start on the 24th, the doubleheader leagues, and then which those teams are pretty good. And then the rec stuff is going to start April the 6th. McKinney's numbers are up, so there's going to be more games. They're still going to play Monday through Saturday. Saturdays may be a little bit more full than in the past because they got more teams. No big rule changes. There's a couple that I've submitted. I hadn't heard back. One thing that I do think I've talked them into is a change in their badge checking policy. More to come on that. Just safe to say that if they follow through with it, and I think they will, we won't have to check badges at every plate meeting. It'll be a lot easier. It'll put more burden on me, take it off of you guys. So no, there'll still be badges, Ryan, but just not at every plate meeting. So there'll be more info to come with that. And if McKinney changes their policy, I'm going to try and talk Allen into following it just so it's consistent across those two leagues to make it a little bit easier. So other than that, everything else is pretty much the same.
Yeah, I think McKinney for fast pitch, we're getting 12U comp back. And they're having a new league that's, I believe, 9U pitching. Competitive 9U of some sort.
Yeah, another new one in McKinney. They did have that 13-14 league. I think this year they're splitting it and they'll have a 13U and a 14U. That's what I was told.
For
So
baseball,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that shakes out.
All right. I think that's everybody on the coordinator side. I handle tournaments. We got first big one, Triple Crown, beginning of March, right? I also know that a lot of our guys are calling high school ball, and that's the tournament season for the high schools around here as well, right? So all I ask is, make sure you're not double dipping. Make sure if you want to go, make your schedule with me and get exactly what you want. I do a pretty good job. If you get your request into me, I get you what you want, and then I work around that. All right. We are in talks with, there's been a lot of shakeup with 5-tool. There's been shakeups with new people coming into town, tournament providers. So we're in talks with them. So the Triple Crown is on there. We're going to have a couple of side stuff with actually like some fast pitch stuff for girls. We also have the annual Chuck and Duck, which I'm starting
Classic.
the Collin County Classic, right? That's mid to late spring, somewhere in there. But I've started to change my attitude on that. Yes, it's a rec ball tournament, but it's the only time these kids really get a tournament feel. So I'm really wanting to show them a tournament experience, right, with real guys and give them a good look. So if you get to work those, let's represent pretty well, because like I said, it's not our fault that they're not any good, right? We should be good. All right. And give them the best look we can. If you look here, start getting, when you go on a signer and you're getting your availability and you're handling your dues and all that stuff, go ahead and start knocking out what you're available for from, mid-February on, because we've got Prosper Youth Baseball and Softball starts up, February 24th. Prestonwood starts February 24th. And then these guys will have their schedules, and all of our coordinators want to get rolling on it. So get on there,
Shim,
start opening dates. Yeah.
Shim, I'm going to jump in here real quick about tournaments. So, we used to be really heavy. We were about 50% tournaments, 50% league. That's changed over the last couple of years where we've gone very rec heavy. It's not that we're not trying to do tournaments. We'll only accept tournaments that will adhere to our pay structure. And the big kicker of that is, if you've worked for us and other organizations, one thing I never give in on is the first game of the day of every field. If that game is canceled with less than an hour notice, you get paid, right? Because I expect you to be there 30 minutes before, which means you got to leave your house an hour before. I don't want anybody driving to a field and then it gets banged and then you don't get paid, at least for your drive time. Our phone never stops ringing from a tournament perspective. Give you just a little example. Monday night, I'm sitting there watching NFL playoffs. My phone rings from New Balance Future Star Series. They're going to be here this weekend at Globe Life Field. They're doing a high school showcase versus some of the top D1 JUCOs in Texas. They got 7 games, right? My phone rings from out of the blue. Hey, can you cover 7 games? We're going to be doing JUCO baseball, so you need guys that can see 95 or better. I'm pretty comfortable with it. And, we did it. We're going to have USO hats at Globe Life Field this weekend. I'm as proud as anybody to say that I didn't think that would ever happen. I am in talks with every tournament provider that's out there. Every one of them, right? Just because we don't do those tournaments, and I'll tell you this: if you're an official and you want to go do tournaments that we don't do, reach out to me. I'll get you in contact with the person that schedules it, right? I'm also going to tell you they're not going to take care of you the way we take care of you, and things will be a little bit different. But you're an independent contractor. We never want to hold anybody back. And so, kind of while we're talking about this, I want to give a shout out to 2 USO officials that are currently at Pro School. They're at MLB Baseball Pro School. And that's Patrick Beatrice is at Wendelstadt. And then we have Sherry Zaleski, who's at the MLB Prospects Camp. We've got multiple officials who've come through training, started doing youth ball, who've gone on to high school ball, who've gone on to college ball. We can help you get wherever you want. And we're willing to do it. It only makes us better, right? All we ask is that, I get it. I don't want to do 9U baseball, 9U softball all the time, right? I like doing some better ball from time to time. And we'll help you get there. We won't ever hold anybody back. The thing I do ask of y'all, and I'm going to send out an email tomorrow, is give back to what's helped you get to where you are, which is we're going to have new umpire training starting January 28th. If you're someone who came through our training and never officiated before and has gone on to do bigger and better things, and somebody asked you, how'd you get there, right? How'd you do what? Like how'd you become the official you are, right? We provide that training. And if you've been through it and you've worked with other organizations with people who've never been through training, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I don't ever want to hold anybody back. I want y'all all to go on to be the best officials and work the highest level games you can, right? But I also want to continue to add 50 to 60, 70 brand new officials every year into the mix, so the burden doesn't get put on you to work 209 games, right? everybody's got to start somewhere. So Casey put up here what our training dates are going to be. I'm going to let Shim talk a little bit about this because this isn't specific to new officials. You
All
can.
right.
I'm going to let you
Can I
talk.
go through this, Joey, and then wrap it up? Do we have anything? What I'm asking is, do we have anything we need to get to, or can I go through this?
Yeah, you can go through this and we'll wrap it up.
Okay. All right. Obviously, if you're on this meeting, you're a returning member. So this is for new umpires. Most of y'all have been through this. Some of y'all haven't. Some of y'all came to us from Arizona and have already umpired for 10 years, and you didn't go through training, and you're a good official. That's fine. This is here in case you have friends or family that want to come, right? That are at least 16 years old. If they're a family member of yours, if they're your son or your nephew and they live local and they're 15, they can come through. I make exceptions for that. Obviously, the big thing is driving. We've tried with younger kids who swore up and down that they'd get there, but they don't. Inevitably, there's a problem, right? And when you let too many of those through, there's lots of problems. So it's case by case basis. But if you have a family member, a son or a daughter who's 15, they're not going to turn 16 this spring, that's fine. Bring them through because we can work y'all together to ensure that they get there, right? So anybody interested, have them at the orientation on January 28th at the Rec in Grapevine, okay, 10 a.m. Yes, these are all on Sundays. We've tried different things, Saturdays, we've tried Sundays, we've tried everything. There's football going on that day, so I wanted to do it early and get them out of there. And then you can see the rest of the, I mean, we'll go over everything in orientation. If they come through orientation, they'll get all these dates and I'll get them on my email list. But hey guys, it's fun to work with family members. I worked with my son. I loved it. I can't tell you how awesome it is to work with a family member. It's a different kind of relationship. You know, it's different than father and son when you're out there. You're a crew, and it's really, really cool. So if anybody has anybody they know has talked to them about wanting to become an official, give them that information. Give them my text. Give them my number. Have them reach out to me. They don't have to reach out. They can just show up. They can just show up on the 28th, and that's fine. At the Rec in Grapevine, 10 a.m., right? The rest of the dates are there. We've already mapped out the training, all right? And one thing I want to say before we wrap it up, and I was thinking about this, and this applies to everybody. And when I mean everybody, whatever level you call at. If you're exclusively a youth ball umpire, if you call like me, I'll call youth, high school, and college in the same year, right? I may call it in the same week. All right. What are you? And here's what I mean. There's only 4 categories that I could come up with. There's only 4, right? You're either a mentor, okay, where you take an active role in helping others get better, right? You take an active role. You like to teach. You like to give pointers. You like to do that stuff. That's awesome. That's not everybody. That's okay. You can be an example, right? You can be an example. Somebody who just does the right things. You communicate with your partner. You show up on time. You're prepared. You have all your stuff. You have backups, right? Your partner's shoelaces go down. Oh, don't worry. I got some right here, right? You can be an example, right? You don't have to be, not everybody wants to be actively teaching, but you can be an example. You can be a riser, right? You can be a young guy or a young gal, right? Or not even young. Maybe you're new to officiating, but you're 37. You know, I didn't start till I was in, my mid 30s, guys. I'm almost 50. So you can be a riser, hungry to learn, right? You ain't going to get it by just sitting there. It ain't going to come in by osmosis. You got to go get it, right? You've got to ask questions. You've got to take a lot of games. You've got to push yourself. You've got to find good partners and tell your coordinators, put me with that guy, put me with that gal, right? Because you feel yourself getting better, right? That's a riser, right? Or you can be a drain, the kind of person none of us want to work with. They bitch from the moment they get out of the car. They cause problems on the field, right? They're never happy. They're probably not good at their job, right? That's a drain, right? You got to be one of the 4. You got to be a mentor. You got to be an example. You got to be a riser, or you got to be a drain. There is no other option. All right. I would say most people fall into, hopefully into the example mode, right? I like to train. I like to be a mentor. I had a lot of cool people on my way of getting better at this who took an active interest, but I also sought those people out, right? I was the guy that afterwards I went and said, hey, let me buy you a beer and pick your brain a little bit. All right. So whatever you want to do in this, in whatever sport you're in, right, you can do it. I just got into volleyball. I want to be doing college volleyball in 5 years. We'll see if that happens or not. I don't know, but I'm going to do everything I can to make it happen. So think about that as the season starts out for baseball. I know we're in basketball and we'll start volleyball here on the 12th of February, but find out, you know, if you're a mentor, an example, a riser or a drain. And if you feel like you can't put yourself in the first three, get yourself out of the drain category. Hey, this is a cool thing we get to do, right? Not many people can do it. Take some pride in that, right? Take some pride in that this is a tough job and that you do it well. All right. That's all I have, fellas. We good? Hey, everybody take care. If you have any questions, call Joey or I. I'm out of here. Bye, boys.